you're quite the interesting case, because although you play underground, you manage to make mainstream people happy. And although the mainstream people don't know anybody else, they will know your name. Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of it is because I've been around for so many years. I mean, every single party that I've done has been of a caliber of what makes me who I am as an artist and as a DJ. And you can trust me to make sure that no matter what happens, you're going to have a good party with Carl Cox. And I think, you know, this kind of whole urban kind of myth about who I am, it's always based on, okay, if you're going to hear any DJ play any music, then you have to go and hear him play. And whether you like my music or not is up to you as an individual, but I've got a big smile on my face when I play, and I'm having a really good time at the party. That transcends to everyone else, as long as they choose to understand that that's what I do, and there's nothing more to it than that.
So you've gone through many different genres, or what we like to call genres, through electronic music, acid house, like disco, etc. What's your trick to staying current and all that? I know even for myself, it's hard to, you know, keep up with everything. So
yeah.
How do you do it?
Well, the thing is, I get an abundance of so much music from all over the world, and there's still people who are making music that's pushing my buttons, and the reason why I still want to play this music. And so if it's like Latin house, or it's tribal techno, or it's really good kind of breakbeat kind of electronic sound of house music, you know, I try to turn all of these types of music into a story of what I believe to be the best music that I can find and put my hands to, and be able to transcend that to the people who believe in the music that I'm playing. And it is not an easy thing to do, you know. I don't go to Beatport and go, right, I'm going to play the best top 40 records and play them all in succession and go and think that that's well and good. I try and find those records that you won't find on Beatport and play these records so people's ears are picked up based on where did you find that tune from? You know, I have to, you know, and if you're only going to hear it if you come to a Carl Cox event, and I've always been able to do that from day one.
I have to say, because at your sets, that energy comes out from the set, because I've heard maybe even another artist play something that you played before, but your energy always shows through in much more than anyone else.
Yeah, and I don't know how I ascertain that. I don't know what that is. All I know is that I have
it's your personality. Your smile and outgoingness. I think that adds a lot to it.
Yeah, I'm jumping up and down, going crazy. I mean, I pay for it afterwards, you know. For old feet.
Don't we all, right?
Jumping up and down, and afterwards I'm like, oh my god. But I can't stop, you know. That's the thing about it. I really enjoy the position that I'm in. It's a responsible one based on that people are paying money to be entertained by what I do. And I see that as an importance. I think people should be getting value for money. I think if you're going to perform in such a way, that's what's got to happen. That's what needs to happen. And for myself, I can walk away very, very self-satisfied based on what I've done.
That's great. That's wonderful. So for your label, who's like your prodigy child right now that you have on there?
At the moment, I mean, there's quite a lot of new artists and new sound coming through, and I'm really enjoying tracks from Carla Lee at the moment, from Nicole Moldova. We're looking at a new guy from Germany called Chris Count, and he's been making some severe music, which all the time I'm stop sending me music and I'm playing every single one of them, but I can't put them all out. You know, it's amazing that people have this much energy. I've got another guy from Turkey called Daru, and we're putting out some new music from him, and also from Leo and Bushwhacker. Bushwhacker is playing here today. He's now going under a new monarchy called Just Be, and he's put two new tracks to us as well, which we're seriously behind his music as well. And these are the kind of things that I like to get onto the label. So they're like new, fresh names that come to the table, and their sound that kind of makes the sound of Intech Records.
That's excellent. So there's a rumor going around that you have the largest record collection in the world. So I want to know, how big is your record collection actually?
Well, the thing is, I started collecting music from around about 1968. So my dad's records I had to begin with, and I still have all of those records, 45s.
So you had a little help,
and then when I was old enough or able enough to buy my own music, and then I would say from 1971, 72, all the way through to 2006, 2007, when I was still obtaining vinyl, we've roughly worked out the amount of pieces that I have is probably over 150,000 pieces of vinyl.
Wow.
So we'll fill this bus twice over with the music that I have.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So what's the largest amount you've ever brought with you to a show, actually?
I normally, I would say maybe about 300 pieces.
300 like back in the day, you'd bring 300 records.
Yeah, and like 3 friends to help me carry.
What was that, like 4 crates?
Yeah, it's about 4 crates, and it's in Ibiza because I end up doing some different sets in Ibiza and different rooms, and play for like longer than 3 or 4 hours at a time. And so I always wanted to have more than enough music. So sometimes I'll go crate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wow, did you have it all organized in a certain way?
Never organized.
Never? So
No.
how did you find it? If you're like, oh, I want this track, how would you know how to get it?
All my music basically works on a year-by-year basis.
Mm-hmm.
So all the best records that came out in that year, that's what I have. So
it sounds like my recently added in my iTunes,
right.
Basically. That's how you organize it.
Yeah, and I pick the favourites in that year of the Carl Cox tracks that I've pushed all the way through, because sometimes you get records that I have that I completely bypass, and then if I do a longer set, then I actually get to those records that I bypassed, and then I'm already inspired to push those records forwards as well. Yeah. But most of my music is worked out on a year-by-year basis.
That's great. That's interesting. So you have your residency coming up in Ibiza. What are you looking forward to from this year from Space?
Well, now that I've been a resident at Space Club for the last 10 years, and we had a massive successful closing closing party, but basically to celebrate the fact that we've been there for 10 years. Now I'm looking for the future, with new DJs, a new sound, pushing a new element of what I believe that Space will have another 10 years in. So I'm looking forward to really introducing some new DJs to the table, and with that to create something of which we haven't really pondered on too much, because we've been utilising the same sort of DJs for the last 10 years. And with that, we're kind of looking forward to bringing up the next generation DJs into the future for Space. So,
under your guidance, they'll be good.
Well, hopefully, if I can only show them the door. Whether they walk through it is another story.
The rest is up to them, right?
It is up to them.
But it always helps to have a good hand to start, right? To guide them in the right direction.
Absolutely. So that's what we're doing at Space this year, and hopefully those the new names will be the ones that end up being the future residents for Space.